You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
This is welcome to Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 425 of Eastern Australia's favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell here. Just trying to remember what time it is when I started the show. That's literally what I was trying to do, and it was like boot loop freeze of the brain. We're gonna have a fun episode. Jeremiah, you got Zach Burcham, Tommy Oakes of Walnut Ridge RV, and International Traveler is here in the co-host chair. Big plan today. We've got top of the show. We're going to talk Venezuela versus the United States. Wasn't a fair fight. Interstate tolling. The big news broke this week that Governor Braun is going to be looking for some money from the people that drive on the interstates, but he needs permission from the big government, from the feds, to do it. Indiana General Assembly is back in session. So we're going to talk about that. The RV show's happening. Tommy has all kinds of insight into that going on down at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. And we're going to wrap up with some fun in sports. So that's the deal. That's the plan. Shows about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you, other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. We did an extended Patreon edition, everybody. I would say it's at least 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 35 minutes at most.
So we had a good old time over there. If you go to patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty, or you go to the Boss Hog of Liberty Facebook page, or you just go to bosshogogliberty.com, you can find the Patreon. Jump in over there, join at any level you want, and you will get show notes dropped into a special Facebook group that you're in. The podcast gets emailed to you and put into your special RSS feed the night it drops. So you've got your special bonus edition sent directly to you in glorious high definition. And then if you are a member at $50 or more a month, that's when you get the good stuff. You get to be in the introduction, top of the show, a little shout out for your business, your enterprise, or whatever you're into. Those folks, John Phillips over at Great Lakes Honda in Fishers, Indiana. Go get yourself a nice used vehicle, or maybe you need a new Honda CRV. He'll hook you up. Blake Reese over at Varsity Outfitters. Notice I broke out the Varsity Outfitters PFG today. With the custom Boss Hog. We're in vacation mode. Tommy's in vacation mode, so I said we're going to put on the summertime shirt tonight. Let's see. We got to say thanks to a guy named Thomas Oakes at Walnut Ridge RV. My God, you're right there, man.
Hey, you're mighty welcome.
We appreciate it each and every week. Moral Monument Cleaning, Joyce down in Rushville, 765-561-2132. Give her a call. She can clean up any monuments, family markers that you have throughout East Central Indiana. Take a picture, send it to her. She'll tell you what she can do and honor your loved ones. And Pops Recycle down in Rushville, the vintage Schwinn's. We made a connection today. Patron Mary Hobbs over at Beehive Body. She reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you think Paul has any bikes he could rent?" I said, "I think he could sell you a bike for what you'd pay to rent it." But she wants them in the storefront. So down in the storefront on display on Broad Street, you might have one of the Pops Recycle Chicago Schwinn's.
Oh yeah, let him throw a price tag on there, and if she sells it, then he'll just put another one in there.
I connected him. We did the business to business thing like Andretti Global does with their motorsports. You're just a part of it. We just introduced our businesses to each other.
It'll be highlighted excellently because she does a very good job with her window front. So.
Yeah. So I think that's what they're trying to do is put one of Pops's bikes down on Broad Street in the storefront. So that's
awesome.
That's the plan. Patreon was fun. You guys should definitely check it out. Tommy got us a little bit lit from his vacation, perhaps.
Goodbye, dry January.
No, it was a dry curacao, so it was fine.
Yeah.
It was totally appropriate. You are back from the Caribbean. You're looking very tan.
Yeah, definitely a lot of time in the sun. Very little cloud coverage. Great time. Didn't die
So
or get bombed.
we were you got out of Curacao 2 days before shit got real.
About 36 hours if we're gonna if we're gonna get there. I think that
When did you leave the island? Thursday or Friday?
we left Thursday, New Year's Day. Our first flight left at 3:00 in the afternoon. So 36 hours later, about 3:00 in the morning on Saturday was when shit hit the fan.
So I woke up Saturday morning and I saw. Obviously there were tensions over the last few weeks. There were tensions. A lot of the naval fleet was sitting in the Southern Caribbean, off the coast of Venezuela. We've been blowing up fishermen or whoever, drug smugglers, the people bringing white snapper from or white grouper. I don't know whatever the hell cocaine's supposed to be. They've been blowing up boats that were somewhere off the coast of Curacao or Venezuela or whatever. So hostilities increased incredibly, and Nicolas Maduro was captured and brought back to the United States on a federal warrant on Saturday.
It was very interesting being down there, and
were there Americans on shore, or you just saw the ships?
So they have their Coast Guard there. It's a Dutch Coast Guard, not too far from the airport, and the U.S. actually commandeers that with them. And so I think I'd sent to you guys while I was down there, there was a U.S. destroyer right off of our beach that we were staying at. So Mambo Beach down there, kind of on the southwest side of the island. We were sitting at breakfast one day, and all of a sudden, father-in-law kind of points out and says, "Oh, there's one of our destroyers," and we all tried to take our phones and zoom out the best that we could. And, those with iPhones got really grainy photos, and the Android phones got a little better picture.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need a Samsung for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many miles from Curacao to Venezuela?
So from the north shore of Venezuela to the south shore of Curacao, it is about 40 miles. So it is very close on a clear day, not a whole lot
from here to Indianapolis, man.
Yes.
That's from where we sit to downtown Indianapolis. That's how far you were.
And on a clear day with like low humidity, you can see kind of the mountain range of Venezuela from Curacao. So it's right there. I mean, like I said, it was one of those situations leading into the trip. I think when the first bombing of some fishing boats out in the sea started happening, I had already known where we were going for vacation.
Was there a little chatter in the family about, are you serious?
I think we kind of kept it a little quiet. Like we didn't want to
say it out loud to each other.
spook a whole lot of people. It's not a problem unless you say it's a problem. And it almost became a real big problem. So Saturday, I got a text from a guy I met while I was down there from Calgary, up in Alberta, Canada. And he had informed me that the airspace was shut down, which I think we all already knew about. And he was kind of worried because he and his family of 4 were still down there until they're still down there actually as we speak. And he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to come home or not, even being a Canadian. So
there's a lot of layers to this onion, and I want to get in towards the end. I don't want to put the peril of Americans that are on vacation at the top of the list here, but I do have it in the notes and what we're going to get into. I immediately look at things through my own political lens. I think Zach, you probably do, and Tommy, you do as well. And I immediately thought, Congress didn't act. Congress been on vacation. This is illegal. Just straight up, like this was not. We did not declare this. We went in and we took the capture. We captured a sovereign president of a nation, like straight up on its face. That part is not what our Constitution says.
Yeah.
Right. So that was my basis. And it was a fleeting thought. I spent 40 seconds, just typed it out, left it, and then I went on with my day. and I was going to go watch Chase Payton, co-host of the show, and we had a buddy date. The girls were going to go shopping, and we were going to go watch Anaconda in Muncie. So we are watching Jack Black and Paul Rudd chase down in Brazil chase a snake. Like that was my mode I was in. And I keep looking at my phone going, this thing's getting big. This post is getting big. I've got 250 comments, and every Facebook friend I have is yelling at the other one on my Facebook page on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, this is pretty divisive. So I went back and I tried to clean it up. And I said, hey, here's the way this is supposed to work. When we go to war, which turned into a pissing match too of, well, we're not at war. Okay. 80 people died. And we used bombs and missiles, and we invaded a foreign country.
In a government.
A head of state.
But I mean, the government is now not fully functional. It was.
Right. The power and the might of the American military should never be questioned, right? There's a slippery slope of concerns that come with what we did, but it happened. I said, if we're ever going to do this, we have to get Congress to approve it. That's what the Constitution says. And the best example of what we should have done was what happened in 1990 with the Persian Gulf War. Yeah. Multiple countries approved. Congress said gave you approval and authorization. You don't have to map out exactly what your war strategy is going to be, whatever, but you get Congress on board. Because there could very well have been a case made that Maduro had to go and that this is a fair thing to do. But no other country approved it. No other country said, yes, we're going in, and Congress didn't approve the thing. We spent over $1 billion on basically taking somebody out. The response is, well, but Obama was wrong too, guys. Like it's not Trump. It's not through that lens. But the concern I always have is when we always have to look at the precedent that we set as a country, and your team's not always going to be in charge. Someday somebody else, a different administration that you don't trust as much. So if you are I love Donald Trump, I love the administration person on the planet, this sets a precedent where the next guy's going to come in. And that's the concern I have, Zach.
Yeah. I also, the Obama thing, like Osama bin Laden is not the same. He's not a leader of a country. We've been hunting him for, what had it been, 15 years, 10 years, something like that at the time.
Correct. Yeah. Bin Laden, there was nobody that said, oh, that was an illegal
nobody
kill,
said,
right?
oh.
That's Obama's drone striking of people was where he got a lot of flack, including some Americans that were killed.
Yeah, but I saw people comparing it to the Osama bin Laden thing. I was like, no, that's totally different. But yeah, for some others, they're all doing it more and more. So at some point, they need to snatch it back. Kind of, yeah, but it feels like we adopted a country. Like I joked with somebody, I was like, they should at least have sent Sally Struthers, had her send me an email and ask me for like my contribution to adopting Venezuela, because I feel like we're in charge of them now. And Trump said we're running the country for a while. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but
it's amazing how I'm 42 years old. 2000, 2001, Zach, you probably could look it up. There was a thing called the World Basketball Championships that were hosted at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. And Venezuela had a team that played in Indy. Their national team was there. We watched Team USA. We watched some others. And this is probably 2002, somewhere in that range, 2002, 2003. And I had really, really nice seats that our company, a vendor was 3M or Valspar or somebody, and they gave us like 8 seats that were down damn near floor level. So we were like 2 rows off the floor mid court, and we had an entire day of watching those games. Hardly anybody showed up in them, so all of the other international fans would show up. Venezuela's people turned out, and they were the most memorable fan base, the most awesome people. They were excited, they were cheering, it was like you had this connection with the Venezuelan people. And that was the takeaway I had of like, man, we are going to war, And obviously they've been oppressed, and you're probably liberating those folks. But there's real humans involved. It's not just, hey, these, it's not blind, faceless people.
Yeah.
Did you find the year?
2002.
2002.
We lost to Yugoslavia.
Not Yugoslavia.
Yes.
Yugoslavia was a team?
It says they won. It says winner was Yugoslavia. I can find it. Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, I think Antonio Davis was on the team for the Americans.
Any starting five for the Yugoslavia?
That'd be interesting because that's like
I bet probably some of them were probably in the NFL.
Oh yeah, they were
or
NBA players. There was
absolutely.
there were NBA players on all sides in this thing.
Yeah,
But-
I think when it comes down to going into another country, I kind of sat back and thought about it from several different directions. Obviously coming from my political side of things, and I get the side of the order. I get the side of the surprise attack, the sneak attack, the Trojan horse, if you will, of it. But we have a checks and balance for a reason. It's one of the things that I think, as our Constitution and our rules and laws that are set, it's why it helps us be who we are, is by following that checks and balance. And when you quit following that, you go down a slippery slope where you end up creating a spot where history is going to repeat itself not in a good way.
I would hope that our generation learned a lot from the Iraq War and how that was sold on terrorism and that wasn't really tied to Afghanistan and the events of 9/11. And then it was weapons of mass destruction that never existed. And you heard a lot of the same framework, even in a poorer sales job. And you look at it and you go, man, this feels exactly the same. And then having the ability to look back on it and realize that many of our peers, Tommy, came back from their service and they're not at the functioning level in society they should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I've lost friends.
Veteran suicide, alcoholism, depression, all of those things that people battle because of their time they spent in service to this country. And I look at this and I think, man, there are some 15, 16, 17-year-olds that if this goes the wrong way are going to find themselves in South America serving interests that maybe aren't wholly American. And that's the deep, like the conviction and where this comes from for me. So I would really love to have had just a happy-go-lucky show this week.
Yeah,
I would.
absolutely.
That's what I want to do every week. But sometimes there's an issue and a topic that comes up that you're like, man, we got to stop and talk about this. This is important. So that's where that's coming from for me. So this week, Congress is back. A lot of opinions. The Senate passed a resolution, I think 53 to 48 or something in that range, saying that they're affirming war powers in the Senate. This hasn't come through the House yet. I think 5 Republicans and all the Democrats came together and they said that they don't want to have further military action. Todd Young released a statement, Indiana Senator, and he was one of the 5 Republicans that voted to curtail this or to not go any further. And he released a statement that said that he supports President Trump's decision to bring Maduro to justice for his many crimes. And he's happy that Venezuela is good now. But today's Senate vote was about the potential future military action, not completed successful operations. The president and members of his team have stated that the United States now runs Venezuela. It's unclear if that means that the American military presence will be required to stabilize this country. I, along with what I believe to be the vast majority of Hoosiers, are not prepared to fully commit American troops to that mission. Although I remain open to persuasion, any future commitments of U.S. forces in Venezuela must be subject to a debate and authorization in Congress. President Trump campaigned against forever wars, and I strongly support him in that position. A drawn-out campaign in Venezuela involving the military, even if unintended, would be the opposite of President Trump's goal of ending foreign entanglements. The Constitution requires that Congress first authorize operations involving American boots on the ground, and my vote today reaffirms the long-standing congressional role. I think his statement probably is very close to where I am on this, where you realize that, hey, yeah, bad guy, but this is a problem and we can't go forward with it. But I don't know if this will be where the House goes. I don't know if they'll give authorization or not, or if they follow the Constitution, the votes are not there in the Senate now to authorize continuing this, which means that this should stop. You don't have both, right? But this isn't a law. This is a statement out of the Senate. But hopefully the Constitution, the checks and balances here are gonna keep us from finding ourselves in an actual war. But until then, Marco Rubio's in charge.
I heard Lane Kiffin was in the running. That was a fun. By the way, on the funny
Harbaugh's
side,
looking for a job.
on the funny side, the memes were amazing because apparently he got captured and he was in like a Nike tracksuit and stuff. And so, I mean, Americans find the silver lining in anything when it comes to like darkish humor, and there's a lot of it. And I saw one of them was that Lane Kiffin was leaving LSU to go win Venezuela, so that was funny. There was some funny stuff to be had, but yeah, the whole thing's just kind of, just don't need to adopt another. I hadn't heard $1 billion price tag for the operation. It's a lot of scratch. I guess Biden put a bounty on him, or not a bounty, but a reward, and that's where he left it. So
I guess if you do the retrieval yourself, you don't have to pay the reward. That was fiscally responsible. Spend $1 billion to not have to pay $35 million.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess somewhere I'd heard it was up to 50. I hadn't heard that much about this guy, and there's a lot of, like, I mean, I'll be honest, this is a horrible generalization, but I just kind of associate that entire part of the world, not necessarily South America as a whole, but that kind of the northern South America is just like, don't go there. I bet the country's gorgeous, but there's a lot of drugs that get run out of there. And so I don't think I would go there because I'm too boring of an individual. I would end up in a gulag somewhere.
The Caribbean is where America vacations.
Yeah.
Like it's you were there. I mean, that's where your family was.
Got about as close as I would want to get.
This is, I mean, we have people take vacations to Colombia, right? Which is right next door. This is when families are doing that. It's the wintertime. It's the 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas and New Year's.
Thomas is down there.
Right.
He's down there like a day before.
And I'm like, this is peak tourism season for that part of the world. And you chose that weekend, like the weekend after New Year's, or the weekend of New Year's, when people are trying to fly home. This is when people are like, they're due back at work Monday. I kept having this thought of, we've taken a cruise from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we generally go January or February. And it's usually about 4 weeks later than this weekend. But I was talking to my wife, and I'm like, if this had happened in 2024, when we did our trip from Puerto Rico, we would have missed our vacation. Like, this would have completely screwed us. We fly out on a Saturday.
Does travel insurance cover wars?
No,
it's not a war though.
It does not.
So people.
So it's very much in a gray area.
Yeah. So some people's trips were straight up canceled.
So your $4,000, $5,000 vacation that you paid for, that ship's leaving with you whether you're on it or not.
Yeah.
So you're just hosed. And they reopened airspace on Sunday midday. But if you were meant to sail out on our cruise, we'll use the one we did as an example. We fly from Indianapolis first thing in the morning to Orlando, change planes, and I think we got into San Juan 5-6 o'clock in the evening on Saturday. You've got Saturday night, and then Sunday you get on your ship and you leave. You board at 10 or 11 in the morning. That ship is gone at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and most people probably aren't flying in and out like days or like.
No, you come in the day before
with huge buffers.
Most people are flying the day before. So that's point problem one. Point problem two is all those people that just got off of a ship, 4,000 people. There were 7 cruise ships in Puerto Rico that weekend. They'll turn them over Saturday and Sunday. Well, now the airport's full of all of these people that are trying to get back to the mainland United States. And this is just in San Juan. There's 3 million people in Puerto Rico that are American citizens that are trapped, that can't go anywhere else. They're stuck on the island.
And I'd be curious as to know, like, it probably varies by every airport, but if you shut the airport down or airspace down for an hour, it's not like you just fire it back up, or especially if it's hours and hours or a day. It's not like you fire it back up, everything's back to normal. You have a backlog now.
Right. So that's why your friend from Canada is still stuck there.
You have to get so now you can restore the service to the planes that were already flying out, but you have to figure out what to do with the people that were supposed to have flown out and slowly get them worked into either flights that never took off, so the plane fortunately is still there, or figure out how to work them into other flights. And so I imagine that's a mess.
And by the way, it's not exactly like you're in Tampa, right? The level of hotels that are available are not great. So now you've got 10,000 people that need a hotel room right now. Where'd they stay? Where'd they go?
Yeah, because you end up with more vegetation than you do anything on most of these islands. So, like, you have a really dense populated area.
And then forests.
And then,
Jungle.
Yeah. Or
third
desert.
world, third world country outside, once you get outside a major city a lot of times.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
I know the thing that I found very interesting. So we had another person that was in Aruba. So part of the ABC, we covered,
Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao are all three east to west right there off the Venezuelan coast.
Yep. So we found, we were covering 2 of the 3. But he flew out Friday night back home to the States. And at first his flight had gotten pushed back. Once they got to the airport, there was going to be a time crunch once they got into the States where he was possibly going to be having like a 10-minute window to get from one terminal to the next to be able to get back to Indianapolis. All of a sudden, about, I think it was 9 o'clock at night or something, his plane actually got moved up a half hour, which was kind of interesting. So going from Aruba, Curacao to the Charlotte, or we flew into Miami, which is an absolute terrible airport, 3-hour, 4-hour flight. So if he's leaving at 9 o'clock at night, he's, middle of the night, midnight, and then flying from there to Indianapolis. And I guess he had said that he ended up sitting on the tarmac for about an hour in Charlotte. So it was kind of like people knew that the government was flying overhead and stuff was about to pop off because the airport kind of opened up that airspace in between the two leading up to it.
And it's not just Americans that were affected. Barbados is a tremendous location for European travelers. So folks that are going on holiday from England or France or wherever, that's where they fly to. Same problem. So it shut down all of the Caribbean essentially. Just saying, if we're going to do this again, let's do it on an off weekend where it's not like peak vacation season for all these people.
Right.
It's not good for everybody that's supposed to be back at work on Monday. That's the part that I was just going, I would be so stressed out. My dogs would starve to death. Our dog sitter would lose his mind. We'd be in trouble.
We got into our house 2:30 in the morning. I was back in the office at 8:30 in the morning.
What if you missed your week of RV show?
Yeah. we don't want to talk about that. Definitely don't want to, I would have been highly upset. I would have probably figured a way to Michael Phelps across the ocean and figure a way out.
You would have hitchhiked into Venezuela and gotten out off on a military convoy plane. All right. Third world countries. Now let's talk about third world roads. INDOT is in the news. The Braun administration has requested a tolling waiver from the federal government. We've talked about this a little bit as one of the big threats and concerns when the General Assembly did not do redistricting. One of the big carrot and stick situations was, are they going to allow Indiana to toll their interstates? A couple of years ago, the General Assembly said, hey, we want to be able to put a toll on I-70 and I-65 to pay for reconstruction and getting that third lane that we've been banging a drum on. We've been talking about it for years, but all of a sudden yesterday, the governor finally talked about it. And once again, the internet broke a little bit. I think tolling is going to happen. There are multiple, I've sat in enough meetings from the state government and from INDOT explaining their methods that there are 2, 3, or 4 different ways where they can actually toll these roads. It's just a matter of the method that it gets implemented in. They can do a waiver that allows them to just toll an interstate without reconstructing it completely, which gives them money so that they can do the repair work early. So basically they get the tolling early and then they can start their job. If not, they can always add lanes and then toll the new road that has added lanes. They also could just toll individual bridges that get redone. So you could toll a bridge over the White River on I-65 or toll a bridge over the Big Blue River. You could have a toll literally go over the Big Blue River Bridge in Henry County or Nameless Creek or whatever, right? There's a number of different ways that that you could functionally put a toll in. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of which method goes. INDOT has made the case and is convinced that as fuel economy has increased in vehicles, that we just simply aren't going to make this up with gas revenues and diesel fuel revenues. It's a portion of it, but fuel prices are going down significantly, and you don't use as much fuel because cars are more efficient. CAFE standards have driven it up to where your Honda that you bought from Great Lakes Honda is getting you 44 miles per gallon on that Civic. So you're sipping the fuel. Additionally, a truck that's going from Pittsburgh to St. Louis comes through I-70, and they never even stop in Indiana. They don't use any resources. They don't go to any truck stops. They just drive straight through. They don't buy any fuel, and you don't get any real diesel revenue out of it. So that's why they want to do this tolling. Here's my pitch. I think tolling is going to happen. We have to have a cap so that commuters, so people like our area here, don't get hosed. Right? You're going to Indianapolis how many times this week, Tommy?
Enough. 5
times.
Yeah, to and from. So I mean, you think about some of the tolls that are in the Chicagoland area. I could have $35 racked up in 2 days.
Zach, your average week, you make how many round trips to Indianapolis?
5 days.
Five of them?
Yep.
So 20 trips a month at least.
Yeah.
I think that we need to have some sort of a cap, maybe $35 a week or something that is a maximum cap. Then that $35 number comes from what the max pay would be to use the New York City subway system in a week. So $35 is what after $35, you can use it as much as you want to. They have to pick a number and say, this is your top amount you're going to pay for using this road. Obviously, what's going to happen is if you toll it, people are going to try to avoid the toll road if they can. So for folks that live, in the footprint of this show, 38 to I-69 to 465 is going to be the route a hell of a lot of people are going to take to go to Indianapolis. They're just going to avoid I-70. And then we have to take it. You're going to have a extra 3-lane road, but it's going to be just consumed with truck traffic.
I mean, it's free to travel there right now, and I avoid it like the plague any which way. So if paying an extra $35, to be able to have a road that I feel like I can actually travel on, and it's kind of like, with your job now going out to Pennsylvania, and I know you don't get too far onto the turnpike and things like that, but traveling out there for USAC racing with K-Rob and things like that, I always feel like I can kind of set my own limit because I'm paying to play, if you will.
It's your private road.
Yeah, if I have to pay on it.
Now, the Pennsylvania Turnpike is the most expensive, the expensive toll system, and that's what the fiscal hawks are going to have to hold it to, is that it can't cost you $70 to cross a state on the highway. Like that cannot be what happened.
I want to see. I looked it up, and as far as last year in 2025, Indiana has the 5th highest gas taxes in the United States. First is California, second is Washington State, or second's Illinois, and then Washington and Pennsylvania, or second's Illinois, but so they're right next to us. They're like 10 cents more than ours. Their roads are also better. So I would love for Indiana to explain to me why our gas tax is that high and our roads still suck. Like, why are we so bad at it?
The gas tax hasn't been that high for that long.
It feels like it's been...
The gas tax went up in 2017.
Okay, but 8 years. For I-70, that's an eternity. Like, they should have fixed I-70 in almost a decade.
And this is the priority, the choice of where the priorities are. And there's a little bomb that's going through the State House right now with the Mid-States Corridor, Mid-States Connector. Governor Braun is from Du Bois County, Indiana. There's 20 miles of highway that is dominating the INDOT priorities to go from Jasper, Indiana, the governor's hometown, down to I-64. That's the number one priority on the list. Last year it was about helicopter pad. This year, it's about
He-
getting that
they-
mid-states corridor done.
They canceled like what, several hundred.
About 350 job
But
projects
the one in his area
have been downgraded on the list, delayed, canceled, whatever. And this mid-states corridor is the top of the list for the priorities as set by the governor. It's a part of a corridor that would take that highway, almost interstate level, all the way to I-69, which could make some sense, I guess. The industry will build it. They'll build anything somebody asks them to build.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, Zach, the most likely public outcry is going to be, why the hell are we building new roads other than fixing the roads we have?
It obviously has looked like a thing where, and I don't understand why. We're the crossroads of America. That's been mentioned here a million times. The traffic on 70 is crazy, and it has been kind of obviously, and I know there's probably fringe parts of the state that might see like the redheaded stepchild of the interstate system. Like 69 constantly feels like it's being paved and widened and this and that. And you're like, okay, yeah, because a bunch of people live in suburbs on the north side of Indy and they want to run stuff up there. But 70 is what?
70 is a nation's artery.
Yes.
69 is a regional commuter road.
Yeah.
I-70 is a national artery. And it takes, the truck traffic that I-70 takes is out of this world.
Yeah. And it's just been,
and I-65 the same. 70 is a little bit worse, I think. But 65, we don't feel it, but I-94 also takes a hell of a lot up in northern Indiana. But 70 is atrocious. And it's not at the top of the priority list.
I just don't see.
This connector is.
I could see this happening and they told it, and then somehow that money gets spent on another road. And they still just kind of let 70 just be kind of, we'll take care of it eventually. And so I might realize today, and they've been working on it, I just don't know what they've been doing. Like there's this section from Greenfield on over. But like today I got done, changed, go to practice. I'm like, I was like, was I faster today? I'm like, oh no, it's because they're finally picking up the barrels from they literally had a construction project that just finished, everybody, and all they did was build a shoulder for the next construction project. They didn't widen the road. It could be wider, but they didn't actually widen it. There's just a full lane shoulder on the inside, because I'm assuming that in the future they're planning on running 4 lanes of traffic on each side of the road. And so they built it wide enough that they can split it and built crossovers, and they're prepping for it. But I realized, like, for the last year and a half, that 4 minutes of my drive each direction, 4 to 10 minutes, depending on how much the construction was, has been sucked up by this road construction that they've just finally started to relent on and let people drive the speed limit again. I just don't trust them to take the money and do anything with it, because they don't like 70. They haven't prioritized it. We need to get a governor elected from Richmond. And now, because I had a friend who was at a
You starting the Jeff Rotz for governor campaign?
No. But I was
got to be a Republican.
I was talking to a friend, and he was at a Christmas function, and he said, yeah, there's a whole bunch of my cousins and stuff here, and somebody drove in from Maine, and they said that the worst stretch of the interstate was from Richmond to Newcastle.
It's absolutely terrible.
And it's like, and that gets mentioned, and some guy tried to call it out on Facebook and said, well, it's because somebody broke a hanger. They broke a hanger on a camper. Well, that's your fault for driving it like that. And I'm like, no, it's not their fault that the road's so terrible. So just fix it. It's not, if nothing else, they say, well, it's such a short section that truckers can drive through the entire state. Well, it's such a short section. Fix it. It's 160 miles. Fix it. It's not that long of a stretch of interstate. So if they're going to do it, I might start driving 234 to work, and they need to make sure that it's the most buttery, smooth stretch of 3-lane each way pavement in the Midwest. It better be.
Yeah, I'm okay with the tolling as long as I can get on it and
it's there when you need it, and it's actually not going to destroy your.
We should be able to drive to the racetrack with our campers and not wince multiple times. I got new wheels on my car finally because I popped a tire, and I still am hitting a bump on the way home every day. That if I don't, I missed it today because I just need to stay in the other lane. That makes me wince. I'm going to damage the wheels and tires on the car now. And it's not a pothole. It's the entire slow lane. It's a buckling piece of concrete that stretches across the entire lane of an interstate. And there's another one on the other side around Nicetown. So fix it.
So the General Assembly's back. This is part 2 of the session that started before redistricting. The redistricting thing happened. They went home for the holidays, and now they're back. You've got essentially until March 1st. So don't expect major things to come out of this. Is like a cleanup session. This is what they call the short session, non-budgetary, non-financial session. But the constituent surveys are out. I checked my mailbox. Representative Corey Criswell mailed one, the 2026 issues survey. And it's one of those things that everybody should get one from their state senator and their state representative. So you should have 2 that you can fill out if you're an Indiana voter. And I thought it'd be fun for us to go over the questions that Representative Criswell has and see, there might be some quick conversation here. First question, everybody. Do you support the current efforts to redesign high school instruction to allow students to complete their graduation requirements using a more hands-on option, including applied and work-based opportunities as well as youth apprenticeships? So, do you want to make it easier for the trade school kids to complete, essentially?
I'll be honest, this is what's more than trade school. I have a little insight into this because of coaching. Most of the kids are not in school full time by the time they're a junior or senior. Doesn't matter. These aren't trade school kids necessarily. I've got kids that are college bound. One wants to be like a radiologist. He was doing an internship at Ball State. And we have kids doing internships at the local realty offices, at Draper, dozens. There are hundreds of kids that are doing a chunk of their day
that are in the workforce,
in a workforce situation in the building. I'm not sure if they're all working, but they are getting experience in a corporate setting or a work setting. Even if like I said, some of them are college bound and they're still doing it. So
I think it's perfect just because of the fact that, I mean, not everybody's cut out for college. And I know we just got done talking about this on Sunday down at the fairgrounds with a Newcastle native that teaches welding, Stephen Vidito, and our general manager at the dealership.
Is Stephen ready for another camper?
We're working on it. We're working on it. And but Ryan, our general manager, Stephen and I were talking, and there's a need, in our dealership on the service side of things, and there's solid, educational sides to what we do here in Henry County. If we're able to get, high school kids that are wanting to not go to college, but learn a trade, learn actual skill set that's going to pay their bills and get them going into the real world sooner. I think that it's perfect for them. It sets them up better for success versus, ending up stuck working at a job that is minimal skill and they're below.
Next question on the survey. I think there's only 5 this time. During the 25 session, the legislature advanced new laws to increase competition, improve transparency, and reduce high healthcare costs. Should Indiana continue to prioritize lowering healthcare costs to Hoosiers? That's a no-brainer, yes, right? Yeah. Of course you want to make it cheaper. Do you believe Indiana should implement drug testing as well as work, service, or skills training requirements in order to receive state-administered welfare benefits?
The drug part, no, because I think we talked about this. They found that it costs way more money to drug test them than any money you save. They find that there's not that many people that are like on drugs. People like to think that that's a thing, but it's not really a thing. The work part, yeah, I mean, I can see that to some extent. Like, it should be a temporary thing.
Devil's in the details as far as that.
Yeah. Well, and then for on the libertarian perspective, okay, then how much administration do you need to administer this? And at some point, if you cause this program to balloon up because you have this huge bureaucracy built around making sure it's being used properly,
somebody would argue that you've got this in place to keep people from using the services.
Yes,
that
in that case, I would say
using it as a barrier to actually have anybody utilize the service.
A good plan would be for me would be know the drug testing, but on the other part, there's a program called Voc Rehab that's already in place, and it's a thing where they work with people to help them determine what limitations and skills they have for the workplace, and then they help them place them in jobs and get the skills and adaptations necessary to work. So I would just say, okay, here's this. You're also getting a referral to Voc Rehab. We're going to try and help you get back to work, but not a punitive view on it. This is trying to help you. This isn't us trying to weed you out.
How would you rate the condition of your local roads in your community? Good, fair, or poor?
Poor.
There needs to be a couple more options on there.
Yeah.
Piss poor. Tommy votes piss poor. Would you support legislation increasing cooperation between state and federal authorities to enforce immigration laws?
I'm not touching
It's a
that.
rough week for that
No,
question.
yeah, I was going to
That's
say.
a rough week for that question to land in the inbox.
Yeah.
I've got an RV show going on. I'm not answering
It's a
that.
rough week for that to hit the inbox.
You're hanging out at 38th Street. That's not a good hood for that.
Do you think states should continue to explore investment in small modular nuclear reactors, SMRs, to modernize and expand our energy generation? That's the Jim Merritt question, right?
Oh, yeah.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
little mini nuke.
Go nukes, man.
We'll put a little nuke plant over on Summit Lake. We're going to cool it with Summit Lake water. No, and that's the difference, is that they don't require the big water cooling. The mini nukes are allegedly the future. They'll pay for all your data centers. And then there is a place for you to enter comments as well. So if something didn't come up,
I'm doing mine
answer
right
that.
now.
Zach's triple tasking. All right, Tommy, tell me about the RV show. What? How many? This is not the big. This is the nice thing about this RV show that's happening. It's I think it continues through Sunday.
Yes.
It's at the state fairgrounds, but it's not the big boat sport and travel show. So it is not the overwhelming. You can't put your elbows anywhere. Can't move. This is a relaxed, actually go see stuff, and there's not 47 people in the way constantly.
A bunch of people dressed in camo from the Deer and Waterfowl Expo taking breaks in the campers.
Right. So this one is definitely your camper's camper show, where you're not having to worry about whether or not you're looking for that destination vacation. You're looking for, hunting trips and things like that. And then, oh, by the way, there's also some boats and there's some campers around. So this is kind of that first glimpse at your 2026 or your new model year. We're fortunate enough to be one of the few dealerships around that were able to get the first hands on the Keystone Montanas that have completely overhauled their look, come out with a lot of new things, as well as obviously still selling a lot of Brinkleys and things like that. And they have some incredible floor plans as well, hideouts on your base levels. So it's that first look. Again, we have limited quantity of things as we're starting the year, because we don't really know what's going to be hot and what's not. So we bring it out. It's a great time for our customers to tell us, hey, we really like this. We have reps from every manufacturer and every line of the manufacturer there with us, and they're asking questions.
Is a Brinkley guy like in a smoking jacket and a top hat with a monocle, like a very expensive looking fella?
Absolutely not. Actually,
Dude, you brought up a memory I have of a trip to the RV show with a guy, and it was years ago. And this camper our RV had like a faux river rock chimney in it. It had a fireplace, and it looked like it was stone around it. And this dude, and this is my brain putting it, he had like spectacle style glasses, but in my brain it was like a monocle. And somebody's like, "What do you tow this with?" And he's like, "Oh, a minimum of Super Duty or F350 or whatever, a 1-ton dually. But really, it should be a 450 or a 550 or whatever." Because if I remember correctly, this thing was a fifth wheel with dual tandem axles. So it was dualies, two of them. So it was a monster. But yeah, that's funny. That brought that memory up.
He's a reasonable person, just one of the guys, right?
yeah. I mean,
they're popular.
I pick on Tommy because Brinkley is the premium version of
and
what
with
they
the
have.
new kid on the block too. It's like one of the newer, hotter brands, and they're very nice.
They're very nice.
So, I mean, one of the things that we always talk about, and I preach quite a bit, is the units that we carry at our dealership are going to be some of your higher end, whether that be your higher end entry level or your higher end luxury like the Brinkleys, or even the Alliance products that we have. Both Brinkley and Alliance are going to be your privately owned, independently owned manufacturers, which is really cool because being one of Indiana's few family owned and operated dealerships, and also, right at the end of the year being ranked as the nation's top 5 dealership across all of North America, and 3,000 different dealerships from the RV Dealer Association. It speaks volumes for us, and it helps us build that relationship with our manufacturers to be able to provide our customers continued support. One of the things I'm excited for going into 2026, this time last year, we were showing interest rates on all of our campers at an 8.99% interest rate, and that was for good credit. This year, when you come out this weekend, you'll see 7.49. So we're almost
point and a half down,
which means more money in your pocket. It's a little easier to get that better payment that you're looking for. And that's huge. We've seen huge numbers so far. We're 4 days now, we're officially 4 days through the show. And I think each day it's been 40 to 50% increase. We had 1,000 or better people yesterday. It was very busy for a Wednesday.
That came through your booth or came through the show?
Came through the show. We're towards the end of the show, so where you come in at, we set ourselves up towards the back, which is perfect. But we were busy. I know that by the time I got done at the end of the day, I was like, "Holy cow!" For a Wednesday, that was rough. And we don't send our whole crowd there because we still have to maintain the dealership.
You have a dealership with people there too.
Exactly.
Well, I'll be out there Saturday, mid morning. So you want your picture with Boss Hog, not with Zach, but you get Jer. I'll be out there saying hi to Tommy, and he's gonna try to talk me into a new Delta or something. And I'll say, I just bought a camper 4 years ago, man. I'm good for a minute.
I'm looking at a pretty sweet Brinkley now. It's a fifth wheel though. I did fifth wheels with bunks, kind of rare. Brinkley's got one with the Z3610.
Honestly, the manufacturer that you guys have is I know it's that they depending upon which dealership you go to, but the Flagstaff or Rockwood, I think those guys do a killer job.
Oh yeah,
with those products as well.
And the nice part about Flagstaff, Rockwood, obviously, the only difference is going to be the fact that at the end of the line, the last 3 processes, the lady putting the stickers on the outside of it will pick up a Rockwood or a Flagstaff sticker. So they're the same unit, different numbers, but the exact same thing. The nice part for them, and we talk about the different areas. So Thor Motor Coach owns basically half of the RV industry, and then Forest River owns the other half. And Flagstaff being one of those Forest River products, it's kind of nice seeing that Flagstaff Rockwood operates independently, but under that Flagstaff or the Forest River umbrella. So they're off in Middlebury doing their own thing, where the rest of Forest River is kind of all in a campus together.
Yep. I think the quality of their stuff is really good. Sports, I didn't want to spend a hell of a lot of time on sports today, but this is the football super weekend, as Pat McAfee called it. Playoff football 5 days in a row. Starting right now, as we're talking, Ole Miss is beating Miami 7-3 in the second quarter. The winner of this game, by the way, this right now is used to be the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Good God. Fiesta Bowl. Now it's the VRBO Bowl. It's the VRBO Fiesta Bowl. And tomorrow is the Peach Bowl, which is our Indiana Hoosiers against the Oregon Ducks. 2 Big Ten superpowers.
A new superpower.
What is a weird thing? I was listening to a show today and they said that, and it's true, like with the NIL and everything you thought about some football teams you have to forget. Like 2 or 3 years ago, like, and IU's one, they said everything before 2024 to IU is irrelevant. And everything you thought about like Alabama more than 2 or 3 years ago is also now irrelevant because it is kind of an interesting paradigm. They said that Alabama football is doing what IU basketball has done, which is try to do what they've been doing for the last 50 years, and it's not working. But the football team, they were smart enough to be like, okay, this is a new game. This is our chance. Play the game differently in terms of how you recruit.
Indiana's figured it out, and they have a chance to set a dynasty. The calendar and the way that recruiting works right now is absolutely ridiculous. This is this week between when IU beat Alabama and now, which by the way, I predicted a 25-point win for IU. I was wrong. It was 35 points.
Yeah.
Okay. It's unbelievable.
Who would have thought?
Unbelievable.
Who would have thought? I mean,
everybody looked at me and thought I was absolutely insane when I said IU by 25 around this table. I was given daggers.
Even while I just said what I said, it's like it's Alabama and it's IU football, and your brain can't comprehend how good IU is, and then the fact that Alabama probably should have been there.
Indiana has a very, very good donor base.
I paid for Wi-Fi on the plane to be able to watch that game.
To watch it,
and at the beginning of the game, I was like, I wasted a lot of money to be able to watch this game, and then they kicked on the Jets, and I'm glad they're doing what they're doing.
Indiana has a really good donor base, and paying players and buying people away from other schools is the process. Mark Cuban,
I was going to say
is worth $6 billion. He's 67 years old. His fortune was made because he started broadcast.com, which was real audio. And it was because he wanted to listen to Don Fisher call IU games in Texas. And he had no way to do it. So he started a streaming service that would broadcast Don Fisher doing IU sports games so that he could replay it and his friends could listen to it in Texas. That was how his money was made. So he is paying it forward back to IU, and he is stroking some checks that have given the Hoosiers all the budget they need to be able to compete. And I think at 67, he could do this another 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And he's got infinite money. This dynasty could exist for a very long time. And as long as it's going well, I think he's going to keep doing it.
I think he just started donating to the athletic program, which I'm assuming is kind of in the last 2 years, like when Signetti came. He's like, okay, if we're going, let's go.
And he said that his check this year is bigger than last year's. They are loaded up. So this is going to be fun. So a lot of expectations going into Friday night, Indiana versus Oregon at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Atlanta. And then the national championship perspective would be the following weekend down in Miami. NFL playoffs start on Saturday. So you got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday games. The big Saturday night game, the one with probably the most interest to those here, the Gary Bears fans, they're going to be playing the Packers in Chicago. You need to have Amazon Prime.
which is I'll be honest, they need that. Amazon needs to pick up as much stuff as they can because
they're struggling. They're struggling, a little company.
Because the Amazon side, like the selling side of it, like where you buy stuff online, the value of Prime on that side is turning into absolute garbage. Where it used to be, you could get
you used to get it faster, but you don't pay for the shipping.
Yeah, you don't pay for
the shipping. You don't even
shipping.
think about the fact that you don't pay for the shipping anymore.
Yeah, no, that's built in. I expect that. It used to be 2 days, and then I remember for a while you could like, hey, for an extra $10, we'll give it to you tomorrow. And now I'm ordering stuff, and you hit the Prime button, and it's like, yeah, it might be here in 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, how is that possible with like the
warehouse is 20 miles away.
2 day shipping, was when the warehouse that it was coming out was out of Kentucky, and now it's like it's coming out of Greenfield. And somehow it's taking more days for that stuff. So
I don't know. My dad told me yesterday that he had an opportunity to have for like $2 more. He got something delivered same day from Amazon, and he lives in Rush County.
Rush County?
Yeah.
See, I haven't had that option. I mean, I used to do that every once in a while.
But they're very close to Greenfield. I don't know how it worked out.
Close to Greenfield too.
Yeah, I know.
I could throw it in my car as I drove by.
They got a 4-6 zip code down there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because that's one of those services I'm contemplating. I don't need to just watch football because I don't watch football.
We've had a score change. Touchdown Miami, 10-7 for the U.
Speaking of Amazon, I just ordered some straight razors because being a bald guy, a lot of shaving going on. And it's easier just to get them there because we don't have a Sally's in Newcastle anymore. And that'd be the only thing I'd go in there for. And somehow my shipment was supposed to have been here yesterday. They told me it'd be here today. And because we were talking about this, I looked, and it is still MIA. So this is the first time I've had that situation. We did have some shampoo that the wife bought, I think, for the trip. That didn't show up until a couple days before we were supposed to leave.
I like the convenience. I like, and that was one of the comments we got was that, God, y'all are complaining about these first world problems a lot tonight. Listen, it's a middle-aged white guy show. I don't know what to tell you.
Here's some more first world problems. Because I looked it up just to figure out the mechanics of this. So if Ole Miss wins, Lane Kiffin gets a bonus.
Every time they win, he gets a bonus.
But it's paid by LSU, not by Ole Miss, because when he left, he's like, well, I might lose money on this deal if I leave now. So evidently LSU is paying out the Ole Miss bonuses so that he doesn't lose on any financial opportunities. So every game Ole Miss still wins, LSU owes Lane Kiffin money up to potentially $1 million if they were to win the championship.
They'll happily pay it if they win a national championship.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't.
Lane Kiffin's a weird dude, man.
I think he's like I'm trying to think
his dad was a lovable defensive coordinator, won the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lane is just, to me, he comes across as slimy.
Who was the insufferable quarterback for the Bears?
Jay Cutler?
Yeah, he comes off of like a Jay Cutler character. Like he's good. He's better than average. He's probably worth it for a lot of teams, but you don't really want him around. Like he's not really likable.
Lane Kiffin has been... He got really big jobs when he was too damn young. So I still remember and think of the arrogance and bad decisions he made in multiple places at Tennessee and with the Oakland Raiders and with USC. USC was so pissed at him that they didn't let him come home on a team plane once. They fired him and left him on the tarmac. And he quit Tennessee after one season, which you don't do to a blue blood like Tennessee. So there are some things that he's done that it put a bad taste in my mouth, and I probably will take a very long time to look past that. But if he starts a dynasty at LSU and does well, then good for him. But Ole Miss, man, I see Ole Miss and I just think Eli Manning. Like it's like that's a program that I think it's cool to see them do well.
Their coach looks like a cool dude.
Yeah, and the new coach he was on Lane's staff. It is funny, like the quarterback coach. This is how far some people have fallen. And I know I'm trying to wrap the show. The quarterback coach for Ole Miss is a guy named Joe Judge, who is a part of the Patriots dynasty. I think he was an offensive coordinator for a little while with the Patriots in the Brady era, which those guys all famously get a job somewhere coaching the NFL and then they fail terribly. He was the head coach of the New York Giants, and now he's the quarterback's coach at Ole Miss. But they're going to win a national championship, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe make the game.
At least pays well. I bet that gig pays well.
But I guess.
I don't know if that's
what Ole Miss.
Yeah, but and one of those things anymore, though, was I bet that for most people, that's the one thing I love to see a breakdown. Like, what's the salary at IU for the program? Coaches, players, whatever. And where the overlap is, if you lay out all the pay scales for the NFL and for college, because there's overlap. The top NCAA football teams probably have higher amounts of money flowing through those programs to athletes and coaches than the lower end NFL teams. And I'd love to see where that overlap is and how much of it there is.
The Las Vegas Raiders, I think, are still paying 5 NFL head coaches.
I saw that. That's a fun one too.
All the way back to John Gruden. I mean, the Raiders are a total dysfunction, screwed up organization. So anyway, that's all I got. Zach, final thoughts?
I don't think I have anything. I probably should have something, but I don't know what day it is. So, but no, just
it's Thursday.
Yeah, I was off. I was off with a sick kid. So, today was my second Monday of the year. So, just have everybody have a good New Year. It's 2026, and the days are getting longer. I think we're going to get like 30 or 40 minutes.
I think we're getting 40 minutes a day like this month.
Sign me up for that.
Sunset today was 5:36. On a normal day, I get home from work at 5:30, so I've got 6 minutes of sunlight to enjoy.
And the sun came out yesterday. It actually came out yesterday for a bit, and somebody said that's a lot. I'm like, yeah, it's because you haven't seen it this year, which is kind of this year joke. But yeah, we're in that kind of gray doldrums. I didn't get my Christmas lights down till Sunday, and it was kind of like because like when my Christmas lights are up, I don't have to use my front porch or back porch light. The Christmas lights and then everything just really felt dead. Then it was a good time.
I am going on vacation at the end of this month, and I am just staring at the calendar. I'll have that nice glow that Tommy has. Tommy, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yep,
appreciate it.
If somebody wants one of those campers, they can look you up, get on your call list, and you'll help find them the right thing. Doesn't have to be something that's sitting at the RV show.
No, absolutely. We have great deals going on, both RV show and at the dealership. I'll be there both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 1 to 8 tomorrow, 11 to 8 on Saturday, and 1 to 5 on Sunday. So love to see anybody come out. Obviously, give a plug. Might be able to hook them up with something special for mentioning the Boss Hog.
There
obviously.
we go. An extra 1% off your financing.
You go to the RV show, and even if you don't see a floor plan necessarily in the Walnut Ridge area that you like get the pamphlet for it, show it to Tommy. I bet
they'll find the
there
floor
are
plan.
almost no exclusive floor plans in RVs. And I bet if you talk to Tommy, Tommy can find you one in a camper that he can get you a good deal on.
It is a really fun way. It's $10-15 for a ticket, something like that.
$12 at the door, $10 online.
There you go.
I was going to say tomorrow it is buy one get one. So $10 if you buy it online, and you get 2 for $10. So really good price. Almost pays for your parking.
It's indoors. Well, I mean, it's not that cold, but it's indoors no matter what. So you can go in there and just.
It's a great no pressure way to walk through a bunch of them, and you don't feel like you're interrupting a salesman and being like, "Hey, man, I just kind of want to look. I don't want to waste your time." It's a great way to go look through a bunch of stuff and get a feel for it.
Yeah, see stuff you like, see stuff you don't like. It's a good time.
Get to judge.
A
lot of judgment.
Yeah.
Oh, this is stupid.
When Jeremiah and I go in, we pick them apart sometimes. You're like, oh,
how the hell is this going to work?
Nobody who camps designed this thing. I mean, infamously, there was one that the outdoor kitchen was like chest high for me, or like chin high, and I'm 6'3", and it was on a dead level concrete floor, and we're like,
when was the last time we had dead level anything?
Yeah, but still, even then, it was like,
no, it'd be up. You need a step ladder.
Yeah, it would have been. It was already high, dead level, and like I've had sites where the bumper is at my chin. This thing's another foot above that. Your breakfast, you're like, good, my breakfast is cooking 7.5 feet off the ground.
Bring your scaffolding.
Yeah, I didn't need Wembignana to come cook my breakfast.
I have that conversation more times than not.
But a good salesman will point it out to somebody like, hey,
here's how
this looks cool, but I want you to know this is what's good for you as a camper. All right.
I had an older couple last night looking for a coach, first time buying a camper. He's like, I can pull 8,000 pounds with my truck. It's max towing capacity is 10. I want to be at 8. What about this? And it was a 35-foot travel trailer. Never owned a camper in their life. And I was like, the saying going bigger is better is not true when it comes to campers. Find out what you want, figure out how small you can go, and then try to make small steps.
Yeah.
Like up.
He'll hate himself the first time he tows that.
It's the parking.
Yeah,
bring it into an Indiana State Park, and you go, I could fit a 35-foot camper in it. Yeah, Zach, I've watched you clear stuff by a quarter of an inch.
I got 28 feet, and I am, knock on wood, I'm pretty good sometimes. I can really foobar up a back end, but I've had some where people have said at the end, you did a dang good job, and I had singular inches of clearance on multiple sides. You're not going to get in the back loop of Summit Lake with a 35-foot bumper pole.
Not unless you're go into the center.
In that, or if you find yourself camping and it's a 35-mile-an-hour wind getting home and you're towing, I'm assuming 10,000 pounds is a half-ton truck. 8,000 pound 35-foot bumper pole is going to be horrible to tow back in the wind like that. So yeah, don't go crazy the first time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. We'll be back. Mr. Bones promises to make his triumphant return. He's been off playing Santa Claus. So on Thursday, January 15th, the Ides of January, we'll be here together.